everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. As you can see, we're doing a blind format tasting of Cabernet Sauvignon. I just thought it'd be fun to do. Weekends gone by, I didn't put out a video Thursday or Friday. I think we're on 288, I believe. Got some nice things planned here in the near future, including an episode with my cameraman, sometimes cameraman Mike Sheridan. We're going to do a Cab Franc tasting. Always like to banter with Mike, I guess is the best word to do it. And people have suggested we do a couple of videos together. I think it's a good idea. Just got to be careful. Sometimes it gets a little carried away. So we'll be talking about that. But we're going to do a Cab Franc tasting blind with one of his Cab Francs in the lineup. That should be fun. Went to the Apple Cup. I was happy to be able to do that. Somebody couldn't go, gave me their tickets. It was fun. My wife and I really enjoy traveling together, doing things together. So that was really fun. And then I got to go to the Seahawks game against the Steelers. What an awesome game that was. And the results were perfect. The Seahawks beat the Steelers. And they're on a roll now. Let's keep it going. That's what we're looking forward to. And I got home. I wasn't really paying attention to the other sports game. And I found out that Patriots lost. Oh, made my weekend. Made my weekend. It was so funny to hear Tom Brady cry about the bad calls. That's just the way the NFL goes. It's just the way it happens. And you got to roll with it. You can't be in a situation where those bad calls, if they were bad calls, I'm not saying they were. I'm just saying if they were bad calls. I saw them. I've seen calls just like that throughout the season. But the point is that, you know, I mean, it happens. And you don't want to be put in a position where you know, allow a call to win or lose the game for you. But anyway, I was happy to see them lose. It's nice when they're in a stadium where the headsets don't mess up towards the end of the game for the other team. Oh, I just have such a hard time there. They've been caught cheating so many times. It's just really, really hard. Really, really hard to see them play. I just have a hard time with it. Hey, Radar. Psst. My dog's deciding to chew up the box all of a sudden. Anyway, here we go. We're doing a blind tasting Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon is the sibling of Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc. For those of you who didn't know that, it has become the king of reds, the #1 selling red in the United States. Got its reputation, of course, in Bordeaux, where, you know, it was part of the blends of Bordeaux, but a big part of the blends on the left bank. And then, of course, Napa Valley started getting, you know, started rolling with Cab, and pretty soon, before we know it, Cabs became the big thing. And they still are in the red category, #1 selling red category. I know in the store I work at, it is definitely #1. And speaking of #1, we're going to move on to #1. I don't know where these are landing, but I know we have a California, a couple of Washingtons, and a Chilean. And one of them is fairly older than the other ones, but I wanted to see how it would play out. Hope I got the prices on all these. #1. Let's see what we get on the nose. Yeah, Judgment of Paris, getting a little vegetal action. Judgment of Paris in 1976. Napa Cab beat out some of the premium Bordeaux's of France, and therefore, you know, all of a sudden now Napa Cabs, and of course Parker came along. Robert Parker Jr. gave some big scores to these big, massive cabs out of Napa, and you know, so Cab is king. Let's see what we get on the nose. Like I said, I get a little bit of herbaceousness. I get a little bit of blackberry stem, tomato stem coming through. I'm getting currants for sure, definitely currants. Getting a little vanilla action. Just a hint of chocolate, kind of like sticking your nose in a vanilla mocha chocolate coffee. Getting a little touch of, rose petal coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice balance of acid and fruit. Get my marker out so I can write my scores. The vegetable component comes through big time on this. Once again, you gotta remember to turn on the microphone. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. I got this new microphone that I use, kind of has a telescopic mic. Somebody said it would help. I think it has helped a little bit, but when I shot my last video and forgot to turn it on, which I don't understand why, I'm standing right here setting it up. Who knows? Didn't seem to make that much of a difference, but I'm not taking any chances. I want the sound quality to be good. This is definitely old school. You get a lot of that green tobacco, green like blackberry leaves, tomato stem. A lot of that coming through. It has good acid. A little thin on the backside, which kind of bothers me. This is one of those cabs. It's kind of interesting. This is one of those cabs that it's a style cab. A style cab. If this is your style, you'll probably like it. The only thing I don't like about it is it has a little bit of spiciness. I think it's just a touch thin. And I don't mean thin in the sense of not fruit. That would be wrong. I mean just tannin-wise, structure-wise, it seems to be a little bit thin. But it has that kind of herbaceous tobacco. I mean, there's currants there, but they're not very strong. I don't think there's good balance on this. Yeah, I'm going to go with my gut on this one. I have no idea, by the way, I can't remember which ones I threw in the mix here. Somebody else put them in bags for me and numbered them. I can't even imagine what the price range would be on this. Let me go. Okay. I don't even know why I'm guessing prices. Kind of fun. See if I can come close. Let's move on. Number 2. Number 2. There you go. I think people like the blind format because, you know, they kind of think it takes out a prejudice that could be. I think it helps the more expensive wines sometimes because when I let's say I'm drinking a $40 bottle and I know it's $40, I'm just going to be a little bit more critical, just to be honest. A lot more critical than I would of a $10 to $15 bottle. Oh, this has definitely got a tarry, almost like a tar, rust, and currant blend. You know, they mixed them all together. Getting a little bit of tobacco coming through. A little bit of a chocolate vanilla thing coming through, which is quite interesting. Yeah, kind of perfumed a little bit. I was looking at the color on this because I'm trying to see. I know I have an older one in here. This might be it. Don't see any brown on the edges though, really, but it's really dark. Yeah, I like the nose on this one. Let's see what we get on the palate. Very interesting, good tannic grip on it, which you want out of a cab. Of course, most cabs, not all, but most cabs are built for food. Really good food wines. They're really good with beef, roast beef, steaks, You know, just a lot of different foods. Cab goes well with, because it has a good tannic structure to it. A lot of tobacco and currants. I like the grippiness on this. It's good flow across the palate. It's actually pretty balanced. I get a little bit of hit of that tarriness on the back side of this one. But some serious grip and a little bit, just a hint of tomato leaf sort of stemminess on the back side, which is okay, and that will go away when you have this with food in particular. And then so that's why a lot of times when you're drinking cabs, you know, you're thinking food. Although nowadays they've with some of the Napa cabs, they've been so plush and soft and big, you can have them without food. But I like the cabs in the more traditional style. A little bit of fruit's okay. This has the currants. This has a little bit of cherry action, and I get just a hint of raisin on the back of this, but not a lot. This could be the older one that I threw in the bunch. I'm not convinced yet until I taste the other ones. But like this one, it has good balance, good structure, good acid and fruit, and a little bit of minerality coming through, which I like. A little bit of pepper. I say a little bit a lot. I say a little bit a lot. No, there's all those elements. Yeah. And this is showing pretty good, actually, whatever it is. And I'm going to guess this one at... there it is. Okay, move on. Number 3. Number 3. By the way, you can make a comment on the bottom or on Facebook, whatever you want to do, about whether you'd like to see more blind tastings or maybe some ideas on episodes. I have one, my buddy Mike suggested that I do a terroir episode. Thinking about that one, you know, whether you do all Red Mountain or Red Mountain versus Walla Walla, you know, Red Mountain versus Horse 7 Hills, Walla Walla versus Horse 7 Hills, Rattlesnake Hills versus Snipes Mountain. You could do a ton of them, or you could go Napa versus Sonoma. Number 3, let's see what we get on the nose. That'd be kind of fun. You'd have to do that in a blind format, maybe put a Anderson Valley, a Russian River Valley, Napa, different wines together and kind of rate that. That'd be kind of cool, as long as they're all stayed in the same price range. All right, getting a lot of currants on this one. This reminds me more of a, you know, the cabs that you see more. A little bit of tobacco, currants. Just a hint of chocolate. No green on this one at all. Yeah, let's see what we get on the palate. A little bit challenged on the nose. I'm not getting a lot of expressions on this one. A lot of nuances, I should say. Expressions, nuances, you know what I mean. A little dusty component coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Almost like candied cherries, candied currants, but very serious grip. I mean, right off the bat, get that like somebody took sandpaper and rubbed it a little bit on the edges of your tongue and your cheeks. Right off the bat. Good acid. I mean, solid core of acidity, which is a key to aging a wine. Always when I'm looking at wines, what, you know, blind or whatever, I look for acid, fruit, tannins, the good structure, how they flow all together. Are they herky-jerky? Do they kind of go seamlessly? This is a little herky-jerky from the fruit to boom, that hit of grip, but not bad. Ripe currants, ripe cherries, good acid, really grippy. Really grippy. Then you get a little bit of that tobacco coming on the back end of the mid palate, and then you get a little chocolate tones coming through right on the finish. It just kind of lingers for quite a bit. Interesting wine. Interesting wine. Okay. I'm not always good at guessing prices. I don't know why. Maybe it's something I never really kind of. I found so many great wines at such reasonable prices that sometimes that's where I gravitate towards. And number 4, the last one. I think it's kind of fun in these blind tastings, and maybe you can say, just to see how it turns out. We did a blind Bordeaux tasting. I think we did 8 Bordeaux with a group of 6 of us. I was the moderator, and this doesn't happen all the time, so don't get super excited. But we had some, $100+ bottles and so on, and in the end, the $20 bottle of Bordeaux beat them all out. Kind of cool. Sometimes that's cool when that happens. All right. This is kind of like, has a lot of bark action. Definitely currants. This one is definitely closed up to me. I get a little tobacco coming through. I get a little vanilla mocha on the back end. It kind of cracked me up. I read one time, I think I was listening to somebody interview Eric Asimov. He's the writer for I think it's the Times, New York Times. Yeah. And he said, I don't see how people get tobacco out of wine. I think that's just nuts. Just because he can't get tobacco doesn't mean it's not there. It is there. In many cases, I've heard it many, many times. And yeah, I think it's funny when, these guys, these big-time critics start making comments and they treat it like the Holy Grail. I have a great respect for Eric Asimov. I love his articles. I love his perspectives on wines. They're really good. But, yeah, that part about tobacco. It's like Jancis Robinson saying that nobody should plant Carignan or make Carignan any more wines. That's just crazy talk. Getting right on the back end, as soon as I said that, I get that kind of tomato stemmy thing coming through, and a little bit of red flowers, almost like violets or... Yeah, let's see what we get on the palate. As soon as this hit my mouth, I knew right away this was a very well-made cab. Nice polished tannins coming through, but then they get a little bit serious on the back end. But nice flow, good currants coming through, but it's not a fruit bomb by any stretch, not even close to a fruit bomb, but the balance is really good. The currants just flow right across the palate with a backbone of tobacco. I get some chocolate tones underneath, a little bit of a stemminess, but not off-putting. Very, very slight stemminess coming through. Nice finish, good acid, nice and fresh. This is a youthful little puppy. Definitely, I think it could age for quite a while, just based on what I'm tasting. A little bit of chocolate too on that one towards the end, right at the very, but hardly a characteristic. More red flowers, more tobacco, more currants. Yeah. Okay. Let's see where we're at. This is always the fun part. So, in first place, number 4. Second place. Number 3. Number 2 came in third place, and in last place, number 1. So, let's do the unveiling. Number 1 with a C minus. I'm guessing it at $16. Ah, this is a surprise. Six Prong by Alder Ridge Winery, Cabernet Sauvignon, 2013, Horse Heaven Hills. This rolls in. I said, what did I say? $16? Did I say $16? $16. Doesn't happen very often, but I did good there. So 6 prongs, really surprised about that. I've had this in the past, really liked it. Did not like that one. So, in third place, with a B minus, I guessed it at $12. Monty's Alpha, 2007, Cabernet Sauvignon, Colchagua Valley, Chile. There you go, $13. I said 12 bucks. Not bad. Let's see, let's show you the 6 prong. Alder Ridge probably doesn't want me showing you this, but there you go. Here's the 6 prong. 2013, which I'm surprised. 13 is a good vintage. I just thought it was a little thin. Yeah, it just didn't excite me very much. So then the Monty's Alpha at $13. 2007, I believe I thought this was the older one. Yeah, you could just tell, but yet held up really well. Very impressed. For that amount of money, for that to hold up, this is what, 8 years old? Pretty cool. In second place, yeah, Monty's Alpha was impressive. With a BB plus, I guessed it at $18. Ancient Peaks Cabernet Sauvignon, Paso Robles, California, Santa Margarita Ranch. 18 bucks. Wow. Wow. BB Plus, I just discovered this winery. I really like their wines. I believe I might have reviewed this earlier. I don't know, but liked this wine a lot. I thought it had good balance. A lot of good things going on. A little bit of herbaceousness on the backside of that one. Very impressed with that. Now, in first place with a B plus, A minus, and I guessed it at $25. And this one stood out. I actually went A minus first. I could probably go straight up A minus on this one. I really liked it. I thought it had good balance. 25 bucks. Powers Sheridan Vineyard, 2012 Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon, Yakima Valley. Like Powers, some of the reserves have $26. What did I say? 25. Not too shabby. Wow. I've never hit it that close. So Powers is a great winery out of Washington, one of the top producers out of Washington State. Bill Powers passed away not too long ago. I had the privilege of interviewing him just before he passed away, not too long. So, yeah, and they do a reserve wine, they do a regular wine. All the wines are really good quality. Even their lower tier wines are really good values. And their reserve line, really like it for $26. I thought it was a good play. There you go. Blind Cab tasting. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.